All right, so we can leave the pool once our system is completely primed, so the water's all the way up, the system's in normal settings, and we're in filter. So I always triple, quadruple check myself. It's in filter, I'm all the way primed, I've got pressure in my pressure gauge, the water's to the top of the basket, which is the trump card. All my settings are completely normal. I can now take off my red wristband. I'm no longer draining the pool, and I'm completely done with the backwashing segment. All right, so every time after we're done vacuuming, we have to clean out what is called the hair lint strainer. So all I'm gonna do, the system is off. We never open this up when the system is on. So my system's off. I open my hair lint strainer basket lid. Okay. If we're in a below grade system, that means our pool is above where we are. So if you can imagine, if your pump room is anywhere lower than where your pool would be, so sometimes you have lower pump rooms, or it's slightly lower, you have to walk down a hill to get to the pump room, we may need to close some of these valves because when I take this off, water will run off. In this case, this is not a below grade system. What I'm gonna do, take this out, I'm gonna clean out this basket of all this stuff, and then we'll be right back. So I've cleaned out my basket, I've done a pretty good job. I don't need to be every speck of dirt, but I've cleaned it out, used my hand really quick, threw it in the trash can, not on the side of the ground or anything. I then am putting this in. If you notice this hole right here, there's only one way. The pipe comes in right here, that's where all my dirt collects. So I need to make sure that it lines up properly. So I'm putting it down. A lot of times there'll be a little notch right here, and a notch, you put it right in. This is a different kind of basket, but again, the hole should always be so that I can feel. If I don't put it in right, I put it in crooked, the dirt's not gonna get in there, it's gonna break our system, clog our impellers, it's gonna cost a lot of money and break your entire pool system. So it's important that this hole lines up perfectly, the basket sits down nice and neat. Next, I'm gonna see this, right here is the O-ring. Right here is the O-ring, it fits right here along the basket. If you don't have this piece of item, it may be along your, the top right here, it may just stay along this top right around here. But there's also a groove that it fits in. If you don't have your O-ring, your system will not prime up. I cleaned out my basket, my O-ring is there, put the top back on, the lid back on, and close it. Again, you do not want to over tighten this, that's really bad. So I just, once it starts to get tight, I stop. I'm in normal settings still. I'm not in a below grade system. If I was in below grade, I need to open up my valves and then turn it on. So everything is in normal settings again. This is closed. I'm about to go turn on my system and reprime it up. All right, so we just cleaned out the hair lint strainer. We cut on the circuit breaker. Now I'm priming it up. We took it out. You saw the water all go away. So I'm opening my air bleeder valve. This is just gonna help the system prime up. You can kind of feel air blowing out right here. There's a hole. If you feel it sucking in, that is not good. So right now, the air is blowing out. We then want to sit here and watch water flow in. So you can kind of see, you zoom in a little bit, there's water flowing in from this pipe. You can literally see it filling the basket. But it's not all the way to the top, like we saw earlier in the video in the proper settings. Water's starting to gush. And if you notice here, this is starting to make a sound. I'm blocking my hands so the rest of the bumper doesn't get soaking wet. So the water's basically filled up right there, all the way to the top now. The last little air is bleeding out of the system, so I've opened my air bleeder valve and you see a huge stream of water now flowing out. So this is just helping bleed out the air from cutting off the system, opening up the cap. Air's getting in our system, we're wanting to bleed it out, get the system primed up. I've got my pressure, my system is in filter, my valves are good, water's all the way up to the top of the lid, so we're good to go.